YouTube stops yelling at me. Hello, audience. We're technically a couple minutes early, but the stream has been set up for a while. We'll see if anybody else joins us. For now, it's just me and Axe. Dallas will not join us. He explicitly told me earlier that he's sick.
I'm also leaving in probably an hour-ish. Give her some change. So hopefully someone else shows up.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we've done that before. I don't remember which archetype it was, but we did do that recently where you just had to duck out. I don't remember if somebody did join me or not. But yes, we're here. This shouldn't be super long. And if we don't have extra people, I will say we're unlikely to get lost in the weeds. It's less likely, not zero. We can occasionally take out time to go in there. But this one's going to be Dracotail. Sorry, that caught my throat a little bit. I will play you a short snippet of sound stream to get you in the mood, but I will not be playing this full thing because this is uploaded to YouTube with the provided shit, so this is totally something copyrightable. Someone is going to chase my ass down over.
Dragontails, Dragontails, it's almost time for Dragontails. Come along, take my hand, let's all go to Dragonland.
There, that's it. That's all you get, chat. Because, like I said, this is absolutely going to be a thing to get it. And honestly, the name switch is funny. It's just Dragontail, singular, in the OCG. I think they did preview it as Dragontails, plural, in the TCG for a little bit before they decided to change that. Honestly, I don't know if that was just they already changed it and then reminded the intern writing their blog posts, hey, we call it Dracotail. Or what? I don't know.
I got no clue there, honestly.
Yeah. Also, I want to say I incorrectly said previously this was based on the constellation Draco. No, it's not. That was wrong. I misremembered that because it is technically two things, but unfortunately the thing it is based on is, guess what? The Zodiac. Again. So it's something that's just as tried. But this time, we're referencing the lunar nodes. The ascending and descending node. Specifically, if you don't know, old school astronomy term, the ascending node of the lunar node, which refers to basically the spot where the moon intercepts the ecliptic, the horizon, basically. That is called having, ascending or descending. And the way they were phrased is the ascending node was known as the dragon's head. The descending node is known as the dragon's tail because it's... when you get an eclipse, it kind of shows that way. Front to back kind of a thing. So, like, it is still astronomical. Astrological. It is not directly related to Draco because that's not an ecliptic constellation. But it does have the problem where there's, like, at most, like, 12 main deck guys. The extra deck guys are already being a fusion archetype, are already kind of explicitly multiples. Specifically, I think their thing is that they're supposed to be the fusions of two the Zodiacs, which are 180 degrees apart. And the ascending and descending node is also similar, 180 degrees apart, Ascending would be the point where the moon crosses the ecliptic going up. Descending is where it crosses the ecliptic going down. So, like, there's more room for expansion than Zodiac-themed archetypes usually have. However, I think this is legitimately, like, our somewhere between 6th to 10th Zodiacological. There we go.
Like, have we ever just, like, done, like, a Pisces archetype, or a fish archetype based off all the mini constant parts of Pisces, or like centaurs based off all the parts of Sagittarius?
No, that would require them to be too smart.
The centaurs would just be like, I think, beast warriors. I don't know if we had like a full on. I guess Tri-Brigade would be beast warrior, but like whatever. Yeah,
Well,
it's
Tri-Brigade
like,
is a
for
tri-type
5
that
years.
kind of like pioneered that one.
But like, I think you could do space.
Front
Like Godie's already like Cosmo fish, but why not we do like celestial fish? Like AKA.
Well, I
fish
mean,
that becomes,
honestly,
like,
like if you want to
could do
borrow
fish,
from
fish
it, this
become
is
dragon
a
thing too. So you
a
also
whole
can have
thing.
overlap.
I mean,
with,
now we're
like,
now I feel like we're doing like too many things. That's like 3 different things you named.
I would think
Also,
yeah.
I don't know if. Basically, right now you're pitching to me an idea where we're crossing over Eastern and Western like esoteric philosophy. I don't actually know if the fish rising into a dragon is supposed to be celestial. Like normally that's associated
fair.
with waterfalls. What I was gonna say was, and speak nothing of the fact this is, I have been playing Death Stranding 2 recently, but there's actually like a shitload of constellations. There's a ton of IAU officially recognized asterisms. There's way more than 12, chat. There's way more than that. And Draco, which everyone remembers because it's the dragon. Like, there's shitloads of them. You could probably legitimately make a main deck archetype just off of every weird constellation that is a water creature, because there is Pisces, Cancer, in the main one. Aquarius is the water bearer, but you could do something with that. But you
starfish.
also have like
It's a pun.
Delphinus. You have a dolphin. You have Ketus, which is usually written as a whale. There's others as well. Honestly, Capricorn is also the
I
weird.
think it'd be funny if it was like the
goatfish
funniest. They're
thing.
called starfish, and there's no starfish.
I don't actually think there is a starfish sign, so it's out there. But yeah, so
I was thinking that was, like,
Dracotail
that'd be funny.
is oh yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think there is a starfish asterism, so yes, you wouldn't have to worry about a crossover there. But basically, what I'm saying, chat, is that while Konami has kind of, I don't want to say future-proofed this, because they have still fucked themselves over by making it the 12 elliptical the zodiac signs. Maybe they'll do a Super Antarius if they feel spicy, but Konami never feels spicy. I think they did like one Ophiuchus once because they needed an extra Constellar, I think. But no, we've done the Zodiac like a fuck ton of times. I don't think there's been a fusion archetype that's Zodiac themed before, but still, we're here. Also, I should say, sorry, clear my throat. Once again, we are still, hi, this is Fail Portrayal. You are watching the Fail Portrayal channel. This is an archetype which is, while probably the least good out of Justice Hunters, this archetype's still good. Literally has been getting tops this weekend at like regionals and WCQs. Usually I think with like some extra sauce. I did at least see one, I think it was a top 4 list that was like Dracotail Dragon Maid, for instance, stuff like that. But this is still a good archetype. It's just in a weird case where it is clearly the least good, and honestly, that's probably because Dracotail is the archetype that is the most traditionally Yu-Gi-Oh! So there's spellcasters and dragons, and they fuse. That's it. They're a fusion archetype. They've got spellcasters. They've got dragons. They're Zodiac themed. They're all different attributes for no real reason. They just kind of are. But it does mean that they, they're doing the thing with different typings, so that kind of limits your extra deck plays. There are a couple of like generic fusion monsters that help them out. But otherwise, they just kind of exist. And obviously are... I won't say they're like an old-fashioned archetype, but they're definitely an archetype that is going to feel more familiar to people who have been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! previously. Unlike, Yummy doing this thing where they're like, oh no, our gimmick is that we make our synchros with Link 1s. And later you'll see K9. K9 is actually a very interesting deck because they are a rank 5 Xyz deck, but they actually have summon plays. And they have rank up tricks that are not rums. They are different kinds of quick play and stuff like that. Also, I think I mentioned this last week, but we were getting a little close to the release date for the next deck build pack, whose name I've forgotten. Because unfortunately, most deck build pack names are nonsensical. Let me double check which one it is. Yes, it is as nonsensical as I remembered. Phantom Revengers. So probably Phantom Revenge. Sorry, sneeze. I had just enough time to say hold on. But we did actually see. First of all, unfortunately, the TCG has announced it. They're calling Hecatoncheir Hectahands or Hecahands. That is faster to say, but it's definitely way less cool than just calling them Hecatoncheir. And also, again, Konami. I mean, I guess it's the Games Workshop problem. For them, Hecahands is a lot easier to copyright protect. But also, Hecatoncheir is not a branding thing or a copyright thing you need to worry about. That's a Greek mythological concept. You're good. But I do believe the other two names have made it out. The Enneacraft are as they are, which refers to an outdated ninefold personality type quiz. I like, by the way, that you can tell that wikis are fan made. The Wikipedia explicitly calls out they resemble Ramiel from Evangelion. Some of them do that, but also they resemble other stuff. Anyway, and Killer Toon has been revealed. So both of those were revealed. They're very interesting. We will talk about them, of course, at some point. But Enneacraft are Earth Machine pendulum flip monsters. You can't pendulum summon with them normally, because they lock you to special summoning face down. But hypothetically, you could set up scales and use them that way if you needed to. But they are primarily not that. Oh, they've got some lights as well, that's right. But they're mostly Earth Machines. It's very funny because number one Earth Machine enjoyer, Peeps Yu-Gi-Oh!, said that he read the first line of text and then stopped because Peeps is a boomer jock. And unfortunately, the card game worked its darkest curse upon him. All the effects that actually mean something are at the end. Their pendulum box effect is fucking nothing. They have a counter-generating effect, which can matter because, their field spell removes the counters at the end of the turn to, burn your opponent for, 300 each time. So they have, a built-in, time rule effect, which may not even matter because the time rules are probably changing to something. But they're interesting. We'll talk about them later. Killer Toon is probably going to be everybody's big winner because the Hecahands kind of don't have enough stuff to work in a vacuum. You have to probably run some other kind of illusion engine with them. That's still probably useful. But, they are not probably on their room to standing alone as a deck type. And Enneacraft are going to be weird. Like I said, they're Earth Machine pendulum flip guys. And unfortunately, that means that most... It's kind of like the Endymion problem. I think if I, showed most Yu-Gi-Oh! Players an Enneacraft card, their eyes would just glaze over, and I could deep program them like the Winter Soldier. But they probably do something in there.
God, Rich, what do you think when you mention Peeps? I just think about, fuck, those dudes are just so... They laugh too hard at just anything that's juvenile or a gay joke. So weird.
Yeah, they go, they're having a good time. You can't say that they're not jovial. That's the word I'm looking But Killer Toon is probably the archetype they've revealed that makes the most sense, but is still doing something unique. They are an archetype that is oops all tuners, and they make synchros, but their synchros use tuners, like all the way down. It's oops all tuners the deck. So that will probably be playable because people are already noting that, like, hey, all the Ghost Girl hand traps are also already tuners, and also they have the ability to like universally synchro in hand. They say for a synchro, you can't activate an effect to synchro summon with this card and one tuner in your hand, kind of a thing. So, like, it's kind of like how Vanquish Soul VS, like, had built-in hand trap synergy because you wanted to keep certain attributes in hand and reveal them. Killer Toon is probably going to work the same way because, like, I think all the Ghost Girls are tuners. And also, people are already noting one of their synchro monsters has a floodgate effect where it increases the level of, like, all your opponent's monsters by 1. So, Yummy can't play. They become level 2, not level 1. But let us actually take a second to talk about Dracotails. We're going to begin at the beginning alphabetically and just run them through. Let's see, where is the art we're looking for? Here we go. So, our first monster, you've kind of already seen her because she's in the thumb. That's not nearly enough. Let me go the full 50. Also interesting that the, like, upscaling on this loses some detail. But yeah, this is Dracotail Phimena. She is based on Aquarius. I don't know if her name means anything particular. It just sounds cool. I do want to say, I wasn't thinking about it too much before, but since I grabbed this art and did post it...
Got the Neo Wushers kind of like outfit.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is, I have a less nice way of saying that, which is... No, I wouldn't even say necessarily that, though Genshin is one of the games I'm thinking of. I would think of this as just, the human characters in this have a very generic 3D gacha art style. There's a lot of games that are Genshin clones.
Most of them are Chinese, so yeah.
Like, it kind of follows. Like, she's Aquarius, so she has the jug, obviously, but also, like, a lot of these games have, like, an element or attribute system. She's got the... they have, like, an astrological gram behind them. These, magical circles which reference their zodiac signs. So, like, that makes it look kind of like a summoning animation. I don't know if, like, Konami deliberately told their artist, like, design me a gacha-ass archetype art style, but it kind of looks like that. The humans in Dracotails have, like, extra little, dragon tails. You can see it right here. Otherwise, Phimena is a woman, but she's got a dragon tail. Her outfit design isn't bad. Like, it's not super busy. I think the artist here did a little bit of the comic book posing. The alignment of her, like, chest versus her hips is her spine made of water? Kind of a thing. But that is certainly not a Yu-Gi-Oh! First sin. There are so many infamous comic book poses and covers where, like, characters are drawn so you can see their front and their, or the front of all of their outfit all at once. She has glasses on. She's got a little hat thing. She has her hair up in a bun, I think, with an extra accessory. She's got the sticks with, like, a little ribbon on it. So, like, good detail, not too busy. Color palette's very nice. Like I said, other than the fact that we're doing the thing you do in pose art where, like, again, there's, like, her spine is, like, let me draw some lines to demonstrate for chat. Like, crown of her head is, like, up here, and, like, shoulders are aligned, so, like, her spine is going this way, and then, like, with her legs and waist bone, it, like, does a fucking, like, 45-degree shift. It's like
I have done that motion, but that's for, like, stretching my shoulders. Yeah,
like, you can rotate that way, but it's definitely,
but it's like
I wouldn't I wouldn't want to
That's a-
hold that pose, you know,
That's
especially
that's
not
the
with
pose you
my
only
feet
do.
doing
I
that
mean, yeah,
thing.
but I mean, it feels like it's supposed to be. It's like a stopped in. Again, it's like the thing. This feels like a card art of like one of those like ugly in between frames of an animation that people like pointing
True.
out.
It's that moment of like the
She's doing
they
a motion.
captured a snapshot, yeah, of her mid motion. Like again, to not uncharitably, you know, this channel is built off of FGO for certainly, but this is kind of like the freeze frame art you'd get after the whole summoning animation plays, right? Like, you know, probably she swoops the water up in the jug and then, you know, it freezes like this.
My thing to me is it's like the weird thing is to me is like her bottom half looks nicely better drawn, like the tail and like her legs and like the bottom
Yeah,
half
some
of
of
her
like
dress.
her
It's
her
just the
face
bottom
and
half looks
details are a
less
little
detailed.
Some of that I would assume is the upscaling, but I don't know if that means that like they. Let me grab an actual scan of the card art. So you can see. I'll post it here. Here's what the very high detail scan of her looks like. Is that in frame? Yeah, that's the important part.
Also from like from the thumbnail.
So,
I
like,
assume
there's-
she's, like the main one.
No. There's two basically.
Okay.
Because
I think it's the upscaling actually, because like this looks way
Yeah.
better in the card art actually.
the
Like,
the
it looks
face details
nicer.
are a little sharper. I do think though that like some of this is just because she's got like a light balance thing. Also, I note that you can see in the full card art, she's got like a whole little like Aquarius seal inside the jug. I would guess that the upscale lost most of that because the brightness values are very high. Like it's white on light blue. But what I was gonna say was the card art that was the thumbnail is, I think it was Rahu Dragontail. The other one is called Ketu Dragontail or Dracotail. The Rahu and the Ketu, I believe, that's like Arabic astronomy, Arabic medieval astronomy for Dragon Head and Dragon Tail. So there's like a duality thing going on. I'll double check when we get to those spells. I think those are nominally the fusion spells, but also this archetype is very funny because it, you know, gets to do things that you doesn't always play by the rules, chat. So, Phimena is, you saw it a little bit there, but she is a level 5 water spellcaster. She has 1,300 defense and 1,300 attack and 2,500 defense. Not terrible stats for a level 5. But the primary thing is, we're back to playing on turn 0. During the main phase, quick effect, you can discard this card. Fusion summon a dragon or spellcaster fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field.
Oh, okay.
So just, she is the fusion spell. You need to have extra bodies to make it work, obviously, because note it says hand or field. But yeah, this hypothetically means on turn 1, if you're going second, if you open Phimena and 2 materials in your hand, you can fusion summon during your opponent's first main phase. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set a Dracotail spell trap from your deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. So if she is material, she automatically searches a spell trap. I believe most of the main deck guys have that effect. Some of them might also search you monsters, but they basically have a twofold effect. They almost always have one effect which activates when they are used as mats, and then they have another effect which kicks in, you know, to have normal Yu-Gi-Oh effects. So yeah, Phimena is mats, or she is the fusion spell. Other than that, she doesn't really add a lot to this. Like, she doesn't do anything on her own, so she is absolutely there to fuse into stuff. But this does kind of, you know, eliminate the problem of playing certain, you know, generic creations. Because you actually get to make some stuff. Looking at, like, the recommendations, generally it looks like most of what people are playing is, like, a wide variety of like, using King of the Swamp to, like, name dub for, you know, goofy shit like Millennium Eyes Restrict, Dark Dragoon. Because I think that just needs a level 5 or higher dragon effect monster. The Dark Magicians, you know, shit like that. A lot of Albaz adjacent dragon fusions. Actually, let me grab Twitter and see if I can find some of the Dracotail lists that actually topped. But yes, Phimena is a fusion spell, and on material use, she is a searcher. Second tab, so I can leave my main Dracotail tab open. Because the next one is the other main one. Dracotail Lucius. The name in the OCG is more like Rikias. It's Rukiasu, but it's like RK straight up. Let's see. Oh, actually, I mean it's a regional, but I see there was a regional top with Dracotail. It's like Dracotail Canine. There's like a small canine package in here that's very funny. But they're mostly just running the couple of generic supporters and then the actual archetypal fusion monsters. Let's see. There was a Boise regional. Okay, that's got like some super poly targets. Got like a small Shadal package.
I like this design more, because I feel like it has more going on.
Yes, Lucius has more. I also want to say they did something more interesting, I think, with this. Because her astrological sign is supposed to be Cancer, the crab.
She's got a crab claw-shaped spearhead, yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, they don't go, like, super ham. She's got the this is actually the mark for the nodes here. Ascending and descending. I think that's... Actually, let me double check the wiki. Is that... Yeah, okay, so that's the ascending node is where the two dots are on the bottom, so that's ascending, and then if the two dots are on the top, it would be descending. But yeah, again, pretty simple, interesting design. I will say, the thing about this is a little weird is, as you can see from the fact that I grabbed her full card art to compare, she is an Earth spellcaster. Phimena had, like, lots of extra water around. Lucius just has, like, generic spectral wind. And there is at least one wind attribute monster in this, so I don't know why they decided to go Earth for her. It's a little weird. But she is a Earth spellcaster 4, 1800 attack, 700 defense. You can see on screen. I will scooch it, though, to free up some real estate. If she's normal or special, add a Dracotail from your deck to your hand, except Lucius. If she's entered the graveyard for a fusion summon, set a Dracotail spell trap. You can use each effect once per turn. So here is, a starter on normal or special.
Yeah,
you just add another
it
guy.
goes from... Yeah, because it seems like everything, the core part of it is just, you summon them and just them. Or I guess even use them as material from grave too, because I don't think that's be on field to be used as material effect.
No, Phimena says hand or field. They may have spells that use, because, I mean, this is... Miracle Fusion has existed for, like, 20 years at this point or something, so they probably have a from grave material.
There.
But so far, we haven't seen that. But even then, it's like... You're maxing out on your copies of probably most of these names. There's a couple of names I think I see people running like smaller chunks of. But like generally you are using a variety of these. So like you you would, if you got like 2 in hand, you normal summon Lucius, you add Phimena, pitch Phimena, you confuse Lucius and your third guy in hand, and so on and so forth. So there's definitely room for a lot of strategy here. And obviously you can play generic fusion spells and stuff You know, there's like I said, there's like often shuttle packages in here, other shit like that. So we have 2 anime women, probably. Lukias is technically ambiguously gendered. It's a little hard to tell with like the big skirt. Yu-Gi-Oh's very oddball with midriff, so it's very hard to tell. We may get some other like guesses in some of the later spell traps. But we do have also a mascot creature. And that is Dracotail Mululu. Say Loth's not here yet. He would probably find Mululu very funny. This was just Dracotail or Dragontail Muir. Cause the name this is Scorpio or Scorpius, depending on how you want to say it. Muir is part of the name in the ancient Babylonian. Muir-Gir-Tab. So you know, either way, it kind of like takes those elements. So this is Scorpio, but it's also a dragon. It's a dragon Scorpio. So like I said, you got a cute little mascot.
He's very like fearsome at like the fucking bee stinger, but yeah.
Well, you know, scorpion tail. I flashed gone fishing there for a second because I have to step away. I'll be right back. I will mute up in Discord, so Axe doesn't have to solo keep you company, chat.
I mean, there's nothing on
but I'll be
screen
right
to
back.
talk about, so yeah.
I'll be right back, chat. Okay, sorry about that. Nope, that's not it. I put my right headphones back on, chat. Get back in the call. We're back.
Lou.
Okay. Mululu, or Mir, is a level 3 Dark Dragon. 1100 attack, 1500 defense. During the main phase, quick effect, you can fusion summon a Dracotail fusion monster from your extra deck using monster from your hand or field, but you can't special summon except fusion monsters for the rest of this turn. If this card sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion, you can set a Dracotail spell trap. Then you can negate the effect of a face-up monster your opponent controls. So, Mululu here retains the extra advantage when sent as material, but also gives you play if you're going on your if you're setting up your board, like if your opponent's already played. It is interesting that for comparison, Phimena says dragon or spellcaster fusion monster. Mululu just says any Dracotail fusion monster. So you've got a couple of options there. Also interesting that Phimena says specifically that her quick effect is to discard her, then fusion summon. Mululu has to be face up on the board to do that. Just keep that in mind. So grab the next one. Because that one is Dracotail Pan. Dracotail Pan, by the way, is Capricorn. Hence the goat horns. I don't know why he has 6 legs and is some kind of wolf goat. But, Capricorn is weird, so... Also, by the way, this is the wind one, which is I don't get.
The green etherealness.
I mean, there is greenness to it. It's just one of those things where like I probably would have made this one Earth and made like, Lucius wind, but whatever, man. I don't know.
I mean, it's got like to me, it more makes me think of like the Chinese elemental of wood.
True. And obviously Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't do that with a 6 attribute system, which is very Western.
Yeah.
But I mean, and he's named Pan. Like I'm not 100% sure, but it's probably named after the god Pan, who is kind of goat-like.
It makes me think of like a weird between like Fenrir and Sleipnir, and then maybe like one other thing in there.
Yeah, and like I said, Capricorn is a weird... The goatfish is a weird creature that we still don't understand why it's a goatfish. I think it's just because the Babylonians thought it was a goat and a fish. And then the Greeks were like, well, what the fuck do we do with this? But so we're here. Anyway, Dracotail Pan is a pretty big boy. He's a level 7 wind dragon with 2700 attack and 1700 defense. If this card sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set a Draco spell trap from your deck. Then you can destroy a monster on the field. So again, this is the very funny stuff of, remember, 5 mana can be discarded to fusion during either main phase. So this is a deck that has turn 0 plays, because if you just open up enough Dracotails, you can just be like, your opponent, starts their combo, you're like, cool, yes, anyway. Discard, fuse from hand. Both these guys have graveyard triggers. Dracotail Pan also says a face-up fusion monster you control, or fusion monsters, I should say, you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while this card's in your graveyard, except for the damage step. Place this card in the bottom of your deck. If you do special summon a non-fusion Dracotail from your graveyard, you can use each effect once per turn. So, if your opponent, if you like fuse turn 0 and your opponent blows it up, or you fuse on your turn going second and your opponent blows it up, you go to Pan activates, summons out another Dracotail from your graveyard, goes through the whole thing. So, basically, this deck is designed to have a couple of cute interactions, and has a strong resource loop when used as fusion materials. But interesting that I feel like Konami has learned their lesson from shit like Shadow and Tearlaments and so on, where the Dracotails are very explicit. It's only when they're sent as fusion material. It doesn't matter where they're sent from, but when they're sent as fusion material, they get to trigger. So it doesn't matter if you link them off. It doesn't do the, like, sent by card effect type stuff. You know, Shadow is sent by card effect, so that includes being fused, but also means that, you know, you can do stuff like Foolish Burial them and so on and so forth. And then out of our original batch, our last one is going to be Urgala. And I think that's the name in both. Yeah. Urgala is pretty easy to parse because he's the constellation Leo. You can see it in his little forehead gem in the full art. Actually, that's a little too... Let me try like 66%. Did 75 work? 75 works. But yes, he is clearly like 90% lion, 10% dragon. Also, he has saber teeth.
They're like a mix of like 3 different animals at once, I feel. Like, I feel like all of them are like that kind of thing of, like, one was like a draconid.
Yeah, I feel kind of like they're, like, obviously
like 3 like tri-marriages of something.
They're seeming like they want to be, like, obviously dragony because of Dragontail or Dracotail. Specifically, also, I should say, the way their name is written in Japanese is Seishinryu, Star Draco. Star Dragon. So actually, that may be why they translated it as Dracotail, because that, you know, again, they weren't explicitly references to the constellation of Draco, but maybe they picked Draco because that's more astrological than dragon. But yeah, they're like part dragon, and then they represent the animal that they are tied to, but then also it feels very like medieval or you know, earlier period, like Chinese bestiary type stuff, where, like, you know, for example, you could interpolate like, oh, a Keaton could be like based on pure mythological stuff, or it could be that some guy saw like a giraffe and then like tried to communicate that back to his friends. If people don't know,
or communicate what a rhino was.
Yeah, that's another classic one. If you
hippo.
don't know, actually, I have a very funny talk about hippopotamus is one, because we talked about the Greek meaning of that earlier. The like Latin name for a giraffe is Cameloleopardus, which is also a constellation. Literally in Latin, it's camel leopard or leopard camel is how they called giraffes, which is like kind of true, because they're like. They're you know, they're arid animals. They are kind of leggy. They're ungulates, but they do have like leopard spots. But yeah, so you get a lot of weird stuff like that. But yeah, Urgala is a big boy, and I don't know if it's supposed to be like it, but no, I misspelled it. But there is I've actually got something. I should add this to the trivia page. So they don't explicitly say what the name is supposed to mean, but you may or may not remember Axe, and some people in our chat may or may not remember, but Ugalu is the name of a mob in FGO, because that's one of the many monsters that Tiamat summoned. Did you recall that one? Yeah. That is a lion-headed, like, storm animal.
I think they usually
which is also part
the name
bird.
Of, like, it's like usually the name of they should have it for be their name of like the chimeric lions, or sometimes the soul eaters.
Yeah, it's definitely the lion type enemies. But yeah, so I'm sure that Urgala, like the name of this card, is supposed to be similar to Urgalu, because it is a lion-headed thingy. So this is a fire dragon. Level 6. So we've got so far 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all different levels as well. 2,400 attack, 1,000 defense, so decent stats for a 6. If this card's sent to the graveyard as a fusion material, set a Dracotail, then you can destroy a spell trap. If this card's in your graveyard, target a spellcaster Dracotail in your graveyard, put this card on the bottom of your deck, add it to your hand. You can use each effect once per turn. So, Urgula, if you want to be more street about it, more thug. Resets your spellcasters, which is, again, so far, they did actually name a couple of them. They added a 1 monster and 1 spell trap like we did with Yummy, so we'll talk about those after we look at the whole breadth of them. But Urgula is, resets Phimena or Lucius, right now out of their support. So, honestly, for 5 main deck monsters, you get a decent package. All of them are hard onces. Lucius is kind of your only normal summon, though obviously you can normal summon Mululu to get its effect off. Literally, Lucius, Pan, and Phimena are higher than level 4, so you cannot normal them. But also, this is a deck where you don't necessarily need your normal, because if you just draw Phimena and 2 other guys, you just pitch Phimena and fuse, So it's a deck that seems decently flexible. It's got a few opportunities to make some of their mats. And now we're going to dip into their extra deck, because so far they have 2 fusion monsters. Though obviously I think they've got decent room for them to have more. Do we have like the translucent or the transparency? I guess we do. It's that or grab the wallpaper version, but somebody actually drew some stuff for that. So let's see how big the transparency is. Okay. That's close enough. We don't even need to resize that. So this is Dracotail, Artholion. Yeah, it's got a lot of horns.
But it's got the Cosmo Automaton vibe.
Yeah, it's got some space robot stuff, because his hands are kind of weird, and obviously you can see straight up, just his entire body is made of space stuff. It has the both ascending and descending node together, sign all over it. And so, I will say, aesthetically, this is very clearly the fused form of Lucius and Pan, because it is Cancer Capricorn, and they are opposed. I would still say that they probably should have switched their attributes, but funnily enough, this monster becomes Earth. This is an Earth dragon. It's kind of hard to see exactly, but it does have the armored tail that Lucius has, which might end in the crab claw sigil. It's hard to tell from this pose. And it's got Lucius's color scheme, but it clearly has Pan's horns, And again, I don't know if we've got any decent meaning for its name. It's just Artholion.
Mm.
Or if you were in Japanese, Aruzarayon.
Oh boy,
it's Artholion. Dracotail Artholion is a level 8 Earth Dragon fusion monster, 3k attack, 2500 defense, so blue eyes white dragon stats, pretty decent for an 8. Obviously, fusion monsters are usually a little bigger, but it doesn't really matter. Your materials are 1 Dracotail monster, and then 1 plus monsters in the hand. So you can use extra material. Why can you use extra material? If this card's fusion summoned, target monsters in the field and or graveyards up to the number of monsters used in material from the hand, return them to the hand. If 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card's in your graveyard, special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can use each effect once per turn. So on summon, this is, bounce at least 1, possibly more, which can be a very spicy interrupt, especially because, as we pointed out, a couple of their main deck guys have, add-on effects when used as fusion material. And also has, I think, a very interesting mechanic where basically it reborns itself if for any reason you send 2 or more monsters to the graveyard at the same time, as if you did some sort of fusion material summoning. But also works if you summon this, turn 1, your opponent does their whole combo and gets rid of it, and then they like, I don't know, they fuse or they make a link to or anything like that, or they synchro summon. So basically, anytime your opponent uses 2 materials and or you use 2 materials, you're gonna be able to summon back Arthalion. He doesn't do anything. He's just a big guy. But we have seen before, sometimes a big guy is all you need. If you've already done interruptions, your opponent's deck may have a hard time just beating a 3k guy. And then the other fusion, which will be Leo Aquarius, are the opposed ones. That one is Dracotail Gulamel. This one, art-wise, I feel like you can tell a lot better the ones. Sorry, it's a little small. Let me actually make that like 20% larger. Even 20% makes it a little pixel chunky. That is how it is. We're still doing kind of that space mech thing. Phimena is now, because this is Phimena plus Urgalu. She's like sitting on his head, and now he's like a giant space mouth. And now she's got 2 Aquarius jars that are laser cannons.
Became a duty boss. She became a trial boss.
Yeah, no, definitely, yes. This is you meet a regular character, and then she transformed and is a boss now. And
Or more
it's
of she summons
like
or more of in the duty you fought either of them separately, but the trial is them together.
Yeah. And it's just like Sophia, where she just like floats, on the back half of the room.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Still,
ironically, I think this reminds me of the last fight in the current alliance fight, but you'll see that tomorrow.
Oh, I already did. We mentioned this. We did the alliance once. It's okay. We'll still get our ass beat.
Well, like, it reminds me of the last fight.
Yeah.
The kid in the chair. Or the kid in the king of the platform. Honestly, the mechanics of that fight did not kick my ass that much. They were like, I think I did a few times just because it's like, oh, I didn't understand how the crystals exploding worked. But
yeah, I don't think we had a
okay.
super bad time with the last boss. It's just that
It's just our healers kept getting killed, so like people were just
we
down.
had some slow stuff. Honestly, I'll tell this story now. We may or may not mention it tomorrow on 14. Honestly, we probably could have done the final boss of the new alliance raid in one less wipe, but we had a particularly bad run where basically the other 2 alliances got down. We still had both our healers up, but then somebody else in one of the other alliances was like, please wipe. And so, like, our non-archetype healer dropped and stuff like that.
None of us had,
and it
like,
was
wipes, but we had times where, like, half an alliance was down,
Yeah.
or, like, everyone's, like,
Yeah.
most healers were down. So it's, like, it just got slow for, like, the ultimate Omega fight was, like,
we
kinda slow at the end.
probably could have stuck that out. I don't remember. Did we? I'll double-check if Lucky remembers. I know for sure we wiped that one because, like I said, somebody in the other alliances, who I called a coward, by the way. I don't usually get spicy in chat, but I straight up said coward. Like, we probably could have knuckled it out and done the revives, but somebody said something in chat, so, like, basically the rest of our party dropped, so it was like, okay, well, we're gonna fucking die anyway. So we did have at least one reset. After that, the mechanics are okay, you just gotta have a little bit of knowledge. Anyway, Gulamel is a water dragon spellcaster. It is level 7. It's 2800 attack, 2300 defense. This is 1 Dracotail monster, 1 monster in hand. And says, when you activate a Dracotail card or effect, quick effect, target a card your opponent controls, destroy it. If 2 or more monsters sent to the graveyard, if this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon it, banish it when it leaves the field. You can use each effect once per turn. So Gulamel gives you extra interruption, and also has the same kind of self-reborning effect. So just like, I think, chat, you can probably see, you guys aren't being super proactive right now, chat, but, I'm sure you're out there. But you guys can probably see at home kind of why this deck is probably, well, we haven't talked about K9 yet, so maybe you don't know exactly, but you can probably hopefully see why this deck is probably the 3rd best out of this deck build pack. This archetype is good. It has 5 main deck names, so you've got a variety of materials to use. You've got a variety of names to put in there, so you have more materials, right? All of them do stuff with your advantage when you're going first or second. You know, they have, like, turn 0 plays. But both of their big, like, personal boss monsters are just kind of, like, okay little interruption guys, you know? Like, Gulamel is you get once per turn, hard once, you get an extra pop when you activate a Dracotail effect or card effect. And Athelion, you know, bounces at least 1 card, probably 2. But as a fusion archetype that's based around dragons and spellcasters, they have a lot of wiggle room. But they do have some spell traps as well, which we will talk about, because they... like, all of their main deck guys fetch them, so, you know. These also will be an opportunity for us to get some extra looks at our other monsters and their action shots.
Cool.
So first we have...
I gotta get going, so thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for showing up. We got through all the
No
monsters.
That's cool. I'll probably looking at the stream at least, but I gotta go.
Yeah. No, go on. I'll catch you tomorrow. Ooh, that's big. Why is that so big, chat? Yeah, 75 doesn't do it for that. That's big. We gotta go all the way to 50. Feel free, chat, to you know, run up the commentation. Ugh. Also, hold on 1 second, chat. I need to blow my nose. Okay. Sorry about that. I've been a little tired over the weekend, and I'm feeling less tired, but still we're a little unbalanced. My humor's out of whack. But yeah, so this is a trap card called Dracotail Flame. It shows what's his face? Urgula. Urgula here is in doing an action shot, basically. He's the fire one, so, you know, makes sense. Boost my background music very slightly, since now I'm the only audio mix, and my microphone is not mixed with Discord. Not a lot to say about the art other than that. But this is a trap card, like I said. It says target a face-up spell, negate its effect until the end of this turn. You can place a Dracotail card from your graveyard or banishment on the bottom of the deck, except flame, draw a card. You can only activate 1 flame per turn. So immediately you should see something very interesting about this. So this is a... what will we say? So, you know, the way this deck works is all your guys, when uses fusion material, set a trap card, or set a spell trap. So you can set flame, have it be keyed up, or set it on turn 1, you know, when you're making materials. And it says target a face-up spell. A note that's like, what's his face? Is it DDD Siegfried, I think, is the one who does that. You know, just negate a face-up spell card. So you can use it to basically shut off your opponent's spells. And it also gets back your guys from your graveyard or your banishment. So this can be a way to recycle your fusion monsters if your opponent is getting rid of them. You know, you summon them back after 2 materials are sent, and then you can shuffle them back. And it does say you place it, then draw 1. So keep in mind, all these are then effects, so they're done in order. You target a face-up spell and negate it, then you can place a Dracotail, then draw a card. So I do believe that if you stop at negate, you cannot then go to the draw 1. But still, good little, pretty decent trap card. Not an Omni Negate, but lets you do funny things by targeting a spell card. You know, I said I felt less tired, and then I immediately had to fight a yawn. admit I've been feeling a little ill myself these past couple of days, but not so much as to interfere with Fatal Portrayal. I may have to take another much shorter run, probably a minute, to fill up my bottle of water soon, because water's pretty important. Hydration cures a lot of ills. This, though, is Dragontail Horn. It depicts Pan doing something. Horning people. Okay, I guess it's got lightning in it. That makes more sense as a wind type, I guess. Dracotail Horn is a trap card that says target an attack position monster in the field, return it to the hand or extra deck. Then you can place a Dracotail from your graveyard or banishment. Then you can draw a card. So this, lets you place a card. It also specifically lets you, return to either hand or extra deck. So the then procs work correctly. And since both of these are super searchable, you probably play a couple copies just because, you need a couple names and they're hard onces. But you do get the chance to find these pretty easily, so you don't have to play a shitload of copies. Certainly, that's my. I'll divert a little, chat. I've been playing a little bit of the Synchro Cup. I shouldn't call it a Synchro Festival because it's technically a competitive event, which sucks ass because you have to win 2 in a row to rank up, and that's terrible. It's terrible for Master Duel to ask me to win 2 games in a row when I feel like I don't control that. A lot of the time, the coin flip and the shuffler controls that. But I've been playing Centurion, right, chat? And I want to say that, I don't want to say I'm built different, but I'm built different. When I'm looking up, I'm playing the deck and I'm noticing I'm like, man, there's some issues here, right? There's some stuff that could be better. Mostly it's in that there aren't enough actual good Centurion names. Atri's a really good ad, but her effect requires you to actually go through your emblema cards. That sucks, by the way. Konami, you fucked up. I'll call you out. The emblema thing for the 2 fucking spell cards in Centurion, that's stupid. You should have just made them Centurions, and you should have split the just made it, some cards search Centurion spell cards or spell traps, and some cards search monster cards, and some cards search everything. It's dumb. It's bad. It's a waste to make Prima Primera, the level 8 synchro on turn 1, just to add an Emblema Oath when I need Emblema Oath as a starter. They added a second Emblema card so they could add a searcher, but it's a lot of stupid Band-Aid stuff that just making them all one archetype name would have been way better. But second note, that means that Atri is not always on because you don't always go through putting an Emblema in your graveyard and putting a Centurion in your graveyard to draw an extra card. Chimera's really cool. I have actually one off of her effect to basically, replace effects in a chain. That's pretty cool. But getting her on board is really hard because the thing that Centurion doesn't have is a way to put a lot of monsters on the board. The best way to do that is Emblema Oath or the field spell to set them. But you only have one search with Primera still. So it's just a really weird case, like I said, where I feel like I need extra summons. I joked, I'm they want me to play fucking double summon in this deck? You need a way to get cards on board. And apparently nobody else in the universe has this problem because every single deck I see, every deck list and all suggestions on Master Duel meta are just, fill the gap in your deck with more hand traps and more bestials, which are also hand traps. And I'm that doesn't fix the deck. In no case would I reduce the number of actual Centurion cards in my deck, some of which are dead cards. If I replace them with more hand traps, I would still be bricked. I have a term that I'm going to start using more often, artisanal bricks. They're fancy bricks, but they're bricks nonetheless. I would not be better off playing extra bestials and playing extra ghost girls. Yes, some of the level 6 bestials would once in a blue moon give me the chance to go into fucking Barone. First of all, I'm not going to bank on that. Barone should be banned. That's just what it should be, so I'm not going to bank on a strategy that relies on making Barone, because I feel like she has to have a limited lifespan. That card fucking sucks. It's annoying that every deck can make Barone. But, Bestials are extra summons. They're extenders that are not always on. I have to put my monsters in the graveyard to use them turn 1. how do I put monsters in my graveyard, chat? How am I putting my light and dark Centurions in my graveyard? How am I doing that, chat? I'm not, is the problem. If I could put them in my graveyard, it'd be a lot easier. So it's like a really weird case where like I like genuinely I think the Centurion deck needs more starters, and just Konami was allergic to giving them the support they needed. Like Chimera and Atri and stuff are cool. Gargoyle's a very neat card. Emeth is dumb. It's an annoying card that's bad. What they really needed was they need a card that just says, hey, if this card's in your hand, you can put it in your back row. Like, without summoning it. And no cost. You know? Like, just do it. Don't have it extend in any other ways. Just give me a way to get guys in my back row, because then you can, you know, activate the token-making card, shit like that. Like, it's just one of those things where the normal summon is super premium, and it's kind of Primera or bust. Maybe I could play like a White Forest Centurion like leader to get me to the right you know cards. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But is a little bit about kind of like deck design stuff. So like there's what I'm saying is that Dracotail doesn't have that problem. You have 5 guys in hand, all of whom are useful, and all of them have the effect that when pitched they set a spell trap. So you don't need to run a lot of spell traps. That gives you wiggle room to play more main deck names, because those guys are fusion material, and does let you play some asides. Like I've mentioned, you know, you're seeing Dragon Maid packages, Shadow packages, like small engines, small packages of engines inside this deck, which is nice. Let me actually grab, the next is Ketu Dragontail. Oh, actually, you know, I said we might see from the front. So Ketu is the name of the descending node. Oh, it's Hindu. I thought it was Arabic. No, okay. But this definitely... I'll show you the art, chat. This makes Lucius look more like an anime boy. So yeah, maybe we've got one male, one female character. That's way too small. Hold on. I know that Killer Tune has done a lot here, but this looks a lot more like a dude. And you know, usually we fuck with midriff, so this is probably anime twink abs. But Ketu Dragontail is one of their 2 spell cards. It says, add a Dracotail monster from your deck to your hand. If your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon a dragon or spellcaster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. You only activate 1 per turn. So I feel like I'm looking at this and it's like, yeah, Dracotail obviously has turn 0 plays. This feels like a deck that's very good going second, though obviously with other cards coming out, like K9's not afraid, like literally that's part of their move with like Izana and stuff, to like put guys on like put guys on their board turn 1, so there's kind of like turn 0 counterplay in here. But it's very funny to me that the Searcher is also a Fusifier. And our next card I used for the thumbnail art, but I'll grab it again and make it less squished for thumbnail-sized graphics. But hey, if you can't guess, Rahu... Oops, sorry, hold on. We're accidentally saving, not copying. But yes, in case you can't tell, Rahu is the other one. That's the descending node. Oh, no, it is the ascending. Okay. So Ketu is your search spell, which can also be a fusion spell. Rahu is just your fusion spell. Fusion summon a Dracotail from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, deck, or field. And then for the rest of this turn, you can't special summon from the extra except fusion monsters. You can only activate Rahu once per turn. So you have ways, you have 2 ways basically to, or 3 ways I think actually. Because you can pitch Femena to summon any dragon or spellcaster monster. Ketu, if your opponent controls a monster, can make a dragon or spellcaster. Yahoo makes a Dracotail fusion. Oh, no, yeah, you do have 4, because Melulu's field effect is also a Dracotail fusion monster. So you got a wide variety of ways to make them. There are 2 generic, before we talk about their legacy support, or their, you know, their core set add-ons, there are 2 generic Spellcaster Dragon supports, which are clearly, like, meant to go with this deck. One of them, I've already seen people joking about, like, Fraud Alert. I think we've mentioned this guy before, but I don't remember if we've talked about it in full. This is Mysterion the Dragon Crown. This is kind of the, like, OCG's replacement for Dragoon, Dark Dragoon. He came out a couple of years ago in Lightning Overdrive. Yeah, in 2021, like right after the Dragoon ban in the OCG. He's been reprinted a couple of times and is reprinted in Justice Hunters. This is a card that is kind of not great. But it is a light Spellcaster Fusion, level 8, 3k attack, 1500 defense. Its materials are just 1 Spellcaster, 1 Dragon, so obviously it, like, slots into this deck very well. It can't be used as fusion material, which is probably why this is not an optimal play. It loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. If a monster that uses its activated effect to special summon itself, or a monster of the same type, target one of the special summon monsters, banish it, banish all monsters on the field with the same type. You can use this effect once per turn. So it's kind of like a weird IDP on legs. So, like, there's room for you to make this, especially, like, turn 0. Since it's just a Spellcaster Dragon, like, you can pitch Fimena to fucking make this turn 0. So it's got some room, but it's a very weird one. Before we talk about the other one, the Floodgate one they added, which is very weird, I am going to step away for a second, chat. Also, I'll throw up the gun fishing there. I'm going to step away for a sec and refill my bottle of water real quick. So I'm once again leaving you, chat. I'm sorry. But stick around. We'll be right back. All right, hydration restored, chat. Should get a little meme to play out when I do that. Make some more text memes. You know, if Loth were here, I'd ask it to make him for me, but I'll call him out. He won't watch this archive back. He won't consume content. So let me find this guy. So the card we're about to pull up is called Secretarion Dragon. But was Sacramentum Dragoon in the OCG. You can clearly see that this guy is, like, he shops at the same store as Mysterion the Dragon Crown. He has the exact same materials and stats. Like, literally, this card came out, like, 4 years later. This feels like they decided to remake that last guy. So, in the TCG, like I said, this is Secretarion Dragon. In Japanese, he is Sacramentum Dragoon. But in the OCG, his name in Japanese is also written Sehinaru Ryukishi, Arcane Dragon Knight. So, like, Secretarion makes a little bit better sense than Sacramentum. I don't know why they didn't keep the Dragoon thing. They really need to fucking... Konami needs to sort out their fucking Dragoon business, okay? So this guy literally is... He's a light dragon fusion effect. Let me double check. Mysterion is... Yeah, Mysterion was a spellcaster. This guy's a dragon, but they're both light. They're both level 8. They have the exact same stats, 3k 15. Their materials are exactly the same. 1 dragon plus 1 spellcaster. Secretarion loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. While you control this fusion summoned card, your opponent can't activate the effects of special summoned dragon or spellcaster monsters they control. You can target a dragon or spellcaster in your graveyard, special summon 1 if you do place the other one on your deck. You use this effect once per turn. So this is the other thing about this deck that's very weird. Konami published this in Duelist Advance, originally shortly after Dracotail came out in the OCG. It was a little before in the TCG. This guy's just a floodgate. This is probably another reason why Dracotail is not like a super successful deck build archetype. They literally built the mirror match floodgate into the deck. This is a card that you would play in Dracotail because it shuts off your opponent's dragons and spellcasters. And I don't know why they did that. It's so silly. Especially because that's nothing like what Mysterion does. But yeah, no. This is a card that like you make turn 0 with Phimena or something. And just kill. Your opponent gets cooked. You make the floodgate. It's so goofus. Like I said, I don't know at all why they decided to print this weird guy. Here's another like weird generic. Yeah, there he is. So let me also. Is this guy Master Duel? He is. There's also another dragon guy who's generic. I think he's a world premiere. This one's not as easy to make in the deck, but also has his place. This is Chaos Star Source Dragon, who is another light dragon fusion effect monster. Level 8, 25/25. He requires a light or dark dragon monster plus a dragon monster. If this card's fusion summoned, target cards your opponent controls up to the number of light and dark monsters use this card materials, destroy them, so at least 1, possibly 2 pops. If this card's banished, you can target a level 4 light or dark dragon you control. It becomes level 8. You can only use this of each effect of Chaos Star Source once per turn. You probably don't care about that first effect. It's very interesting for some, like, aside stuff. But obviously is supposed to be doing some kind of weird thing, I think, with, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, Chaos Dragons, or Galaxy Eyes, but it's pretty generic, and also it gives you a pretty decent super poly target if your opponent's on some sort of dragon-based deck. You know, gives you something to make. So let me grab. Oh, Lost says his PC's booting up. So that means he'll be 20 minutes. Oh, that's right. Thank you, chat. Let's see. I'll grab a Sectarion Dragon then as well. See, this is the risk of doing things alone, because I don't, like, hear an alert when you guys chat. Do I Sacramento Dragoon? I showed Mysterion before we left, and then we moved off. Oh, that's tiny. Hold on. Give me the correct size of this, please. Yeah, so on screen right now is Chaos Star Surge. It's pretty normal. Sure. I'll since I didn't do it before, let's grab Mysterion as well, and I'll just show them side by side. Because I believe Mysterion was on screen when I left, so you did, or on screen before I left, so you did see the marker, and then we moved back. But yeah, like, it's also funny, by the way, this guy is the dragon, this guy is the spellcaster, but they're very weird and clearly, like, same shit, different day kind of a vibe, right? Sorry, I'm double checking my. Why don't we make sure we're loading up everything? Sketch forward. Yeah. Yeah, they're both very gold, and they have this kind of like blue-green color. They're very similar, like I said. They're very weird. But I was just saying, I was scrolling back on my Twitter. But yeah, they're very odd guys. But we do actually have a little bit of support. And let me not yawn too loud and get ready to grab. Because you know what we love, Chad? We love putting more monsters in the main deck. You know, you gotta keep buying cards. You can't just buy the deck build pack. You gotta buy more cards. I mean, that's a little unfair. Generally, usually, like these days, like for the past at least couple of years, and I think more like 3 or 4, deck build packs have been technically like most of the monster archetypes in there, or most of the archetypes in general. Could be Runic, you know, you barely have any monsters. Most of the archetypes have been playable out the box. It's just you need a little bit of work to them. It's the later support gives them extra cards, shores up, and can kind of cover some things. Sorry, that's me pausing to bookmark a Rubik's Raptor tweet with a video file so I can... look at it later, not on stream. But yes, this is... Dracotail Frixel. Sorry, I'm like slow talking because like I'd like to stall for more Loth, but like the hamsters that run his PC are like super slow. It's been literally 5 minutes and like it's not up yet. And then it'll be 5 more minutes and then the stream will be done. No, I'm kidding actually. Because spoilers, I have a little bit of extra time to tack on the end. Let's see, how long have we gone? About a minute 30? Minute 30. God, I really am tired. I do need to take a break after this, chat. about an hour 30. So we do have a little bit of room to compensate, which is I did, like I said, see some lists where Dracotail Dragon Maid is being run, and there are some new Dragon Maids that I don't think we've shown on screen and talked about. So we could do a little extra Dragon Maid stuff at the end. Sip some water a little. Unfortunately, all of my my time stally stuff we already talked about because we already mentioned earlier in the stream Killer Tune and Craft. Honestly, all three of those deck build pack archetypes are super interesting. Obviously, I will be trying to run Heka Hands because that is an illusion archetype that does illusion stuff. But there is... Sorry, I tapped back over to my Master Duel track running, and they've got a very interesting bed image I'm suspicious of. I won't worry about that. I'll worry about that later. But no, all of those are going to do something interesting, and it's kind of interesting to see like where we at meta-wise. But otherwise, I think mostly Yu-Gi-Oh has been pretty quiet. Other than obviously things being a little goofy. I mean, we're announcing a lot of Megatin stuff. Which is neat. One of which is a brand new card. Here, I'll splash her on screen. You can see in the middle there. Queen of the Blazing Domains. Clearly a very obviously, I want to say, like, art design-wise, a, God, I can't even remember. Ashen. There we go. I'm like, I can't even remember the stupid archetype. Very clearly, like, an Ashen card, like, art design that, because Ashen sucks balls, they decided not to do. But she's a Dark Law, which is very funny. But she's, you know, a Blue Eyes White Dragon stats the Dark Law effect. Can't be destroyed by card effects. The card's in your hand. Target up to 2 cards you control, including a phase-up spell trap. Special summon her. If you destroyed 1 card, you return it to the hand. If you destroyed 2, gains the macro effect. So you don't have to, like, Macrocosmos your opponent. But there's got to be some room for Dark Pyro stuff. But yeah, that's like the one neat world premiere so far shown in the tins. I don't think there's anything else going on really. They did show like a little bit of the scrap stuff. Oh no, sorry. They said straight up that it's Phantom Revengers is Phantom Revengers. But no, like YG Organization is just like they're trying to milk more clicks by just every single fucking time the Mega Pack announces 2 cards because it's a social media post. They make a new post on their website. So there's not a lot of business to go on. Let me check. Is that the full... Yes! That's the full 10 minutes of No Loth. Ugh. 10 minutes of Loth. I mean, not that you care. You guys all left. Probably when I left. When people leave and they don't come back. They forget. I had to leave and go piss, and then you guys leave to go piss, but you never come back. How rude. Anyway, let me actually double check the trivia. I was about to try and say Frixel. Or is it Frickle? So this is Dragontails Purikuru. Frickle? Dragotail Frickle? Frixel? Fikru? I don't know, man. I don't know. Sorry, I just realized that we're counting up and down stars. So, we have a limit of 12 main deck monsters, probably. But for some reason, also, we appear to be using different star combinations for every single monster, so that means that Konami is going to fuck themselves if they want to give this deck ongoing support. Ow. Sorry, slap my mic down. But if they want to give this deck ongoing support, they're going to run out of levels, which are good, very fast. They're already, at 7 highest in the main, and they've got 8s in the extra. And Frickle here is... Frickle 5 Faux Fum here is a 2. Sorry, I can't actually see right now because I'm way too into rubbing my eyes. Ferociously rubbing my eyes. Okay. Almost 15 minutes of no loth, by the way. It's like, why did he bother to tell me? But Frickle is a light spellcaster, 2, 800 attack, 1500 defense. Does give you a second normal, so this is something the deck probably needed. If this card's normal or special, target a Dracotail in your graveyard except Frickle. Special summon it, then return a monster you control to the hand. This card's sent to the graveyard as fusion material, set a Dracotail spell trap. This is probably alright as a 6th name. Gives you another thing to normal summon, but obviously clearly requires you to have a card in grave already. So, probably only does something if you have a grip of Oops all Dracotails, and then have, Fimena to fusion. But, it gives you something else to do. Again, great going second. Like I said, what I'm learning reading this is I'm sure that people are playing it as kind of a multi-tempo, deck, right? Both going first and second plays. The way this deck is written makes it feel like a going second deck. Because both of their in-archetype fusion monsters have effects to disrupt your opponent's board. Obviously, if you make them turn 0, that works too. But that means you're going second, right? So this deck does kind of jack all if you're going first, other than I guess you set up some generic fusions. This is probably why you see King of the Swamp packages and shit, so you can make fusion monsters that actually do shit going first, control monsters. I guess you could make what's his face, Secretary on the Floodgate guy. Sorry, I should say Secretary on the Floodgate Dragon. That's not his real name. 15 minutes, by the way. We're developing a sub-theme, which is how long will it take Loth to show up? You're going to have to clarify what policy implementation. Policy implementation is a very broad word. The age stuff? I don't know. The swearing stuff? That's cool. I'll probably still blank out the first little bit of the screen just to make sure everything's working and you guys are filtering in, and so we don't abruptly transition from a conversation I'm having in the Discord. But what I... Woo, sorry. Yawning. What I really need to work on is pick out some of the generic YouTube music and get a screen or an Yeah, we'll get a screen. I won't claim to know jack shit to make like an intro animation. God knows how so many VTubers, after spending all their money on a VTuber model, can afford an animation block. But yeah, the switching it up. The age verification shit sucks ass, but it sucks ass universally. Call your congressman, et cetera, et cetera. If you live in a country that's not America or the UK, also complain. The international market does matter to YouTube. So, you know, I don't know if you have politicians you can lean on, but it would be nice if we could futz with that. YouTube's AI, like Scrapifier, which makes, like, video thumbnails and descriptions and also suggests comments, like replies to comments, is, like, both incredibly on point and also incredibly dog shit, like most LLMs and shit, most Gen AI stuff. I kind of wish they wouldn't bother because they don't need to spend the money on that. Just lie and say you're adding an AI age verification. No, what probably happened is some dumb nerd who needs a swirly in the tech department at YouTube said, "Oh, give me $100,000, I can implement an AI-based age verification thing." Now he's important. We need to deliver more wedgies, swirlies, and locker rings to tech bros. Because they're nerds, tech bro. You're not cool. Crypto guys throwing dildos at women's sporting events. You're not a cool guy. You need to go in the locker. It's gonna make a shitload of misplaced errors, and there was a lot of blowback, so they'll probably make sure they have their fail-safes in place because they don't want to lose a bunch of users. Because always remember, for the sake of YouTube, they are reliant on your viewership to make money. YouTube doesn't sell anything. They don't like take money to upload videos, so they rely entirely on advertiser dollars and like membership slices, so they actually need the biggest user base possible. It is not in their interest to restrict their user base. And again, maybe they are just making shit up to appease like the increasingly conservative bullshit UK government and the US government's talk about this shit. One more and it'll be 20 minutes, by the way. But, like, I suspect it will not be very strict, and it'll probably be chaotic and error-prone for a while, and they'll either do away with it like Google always does, or they will fix it. I'm just saying, they better not try and fucking pull that shit on me, because, guys, I don't know if you know this, I pay taxes on YouTube money. Google rats me out to the U.S. government, so I have to pay tax dollars on the shit I make here. So they know that I'm a fucking adult. They know that I'm over 18. So, like, they better not pull that shit on me. Like I said, I'm a YouTube partner. You know that I'm an adult. You better not be trusting an AI over the fucking verifiable information I've given you. But obviously not every casual user is gonna have access to that. $20 minutes, chat. Do I hear 25? I'm just going to do the last couple of cards, and if Lost shows up, Lost shows up, and, you know, if he's here for me when I'm doing the outro, that's his fucking problem. I mean, it's kind of not his problem, but it's he keeps buying things that are not a new PC, so it's his problem. So, Frixel does give you something to do with your time. Give you a little extra steez. The next card that they released upcoming in Doom of Dimensions is Dracotails Sting. Let me grab you that card art if I can find it. Though in case you can't tell, Sting is Mululu. Oh, there's a Fairy Tale card. Or a Fairy Tale guy called Sting. My god, I'm fucking losing my mind, chat. I can't spell. I tried 4 times to spell dragon. I can't. Yeah, nobody has given a shit to actually redraw this card art, so you'll just have to see what the scan from the OCG looks like. I didn't say a lot about Frixil. Frixil is Taurus, or Frickle. That's fine. We're still doing the gender ambiguity thing. They have horns, and they also have a horn. That's funny. So Sting is Mululu doing an action shot. That probably means that there's going to be there should be a spell card for Frickle, and there will be a fusion of Frickle Mululu. Actually, probably. I should. Well, what are... Yes, so Taurus and Scorpio are opposed. I'm like, they have to be opposed, but... Yeah. So there should be a fusion, a third fusion for Frickle and... But, like I said, that probably means there's a Frickle spell card out there somewhere. Dracotails Sting is a trap card that just says, target a monster spell trap in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, then you can place a Dracotail on the bottom of your deck except Sting, then draw a card. One per turn. So, gives them a DD Crow Trap, giving a third trap name. Sorry, so burpy. So you know you can do all this. Is important. Gives you some extra names and stuff for your shenanigans. But let's pull up the Dragon Maids, because I said I would talk about those, and we haven't quite hit 2 hours. And like I said, people are running. Dracotail Dragon Maid combos. Like I said, I saw some top 4s. I gotta search your fucking OCG name. Yeah, all the Dragon Maids have, like, German names in the OCG. So we finally got the Dragon mode of Chamber. She's Dragon Maid Stern in the OCG. They went with a Dragon Maid Crimble. And since it's not the OCG name, there's no pronunciation guide. Great, thanks, TCG. But yeah, Chamber Dragon Maid's dragon form. Pretty easy to figure out. But it is a 9. I think I correctly said what it would have to be. It's a level 9 Dark Dragon, obviously 2800 attack defense. Dragon fusion monsters you control can be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. I think most of the big dragons, if not all of them, say that. You can use each of the following effects once per turn. You can discard this card, special summon a Dragon Maid from your graveyard or banishment, except Karimba. At the end of the battle phase, you can return it, special summon a Dragon Maid. So, not, like, critical, but it's good to have another big one. You know, she's level 9. So the levels line up good.
It's good to have her dragon form.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry for being late.
Well, chat, we didn't make it to the 30-minute count.
What? No.
I've been counting with chat how long since you said you're booting your PC up. It's 25 minutes, by the way, chat.
To be fair, my PC did boot up. The problem is, I decided to call my mom, and that delayed me quite a bit.
Yeah, I felt like normally it doesn't take. They take 20 minutes to get all your stuff up. But I was keeping track for future.
Okay. I was like, okay, Mom, I gotta get going. She's like, so by the way, I'm like.
But yeah, we're basically winding down here. You've missed all of the Dracotails. Literally all of them, every single one. But I added the couple of new Dragon Maid cards that have been released because people are running Dracotail Dragon Maid and getting some tops. But yeah, again, I really don't know what the fuck they want me to, how I'm supposed to pronounce this. Cherumba. It's CEHRMBA, chat. I'll post it in the stream
CHR?
chat. Yes. Cherumba.
Yeah, that is a confusing one to go for.
I know that
do
they
appreciate-
do the God, I forget the word. They jumble up the letters. There's a smart word for that I normally know, but I'm not doing well anymore, chat.
No, it's not anagram. It's
It is anagram actually. Yeah, that's rearranging the letters.
Oh,
There's
shit.
another one for syllables, but I think it is just an anagram of chamber. They just jiggled all the words in chamber up.
Well, that's how it is with these ones.
Yeah.
I do like that they kept like the ruffles of her skirt and
yeah, her
just
skirts and
added it to
dress.
her tail.
Yeah, no, the Dragon Maid transformations are really good, and they do have like distinct works. Like Chamber's dragon form here has like feathered wings and has kind of like a beak-like mouth. Her like hairstyle shape is now kind of like the mane. Her little frill.
Oh,
is
she's
a
got like
crown.
little. She got what looks like little like bone ribs out on her tummy.
Yeah, and I think she's wearing like a dress note that does that. But yeah, so it's a good card to have. It adds another body in here. It's another high-level Dragon Maid for fusions. It is dark for things that matter. Earlier I pointed out to chat, what's his face? Chaos Starscourge Dragon, which is a generic dragon fusion that is a lighter dark dragon plus a dragon monster. So like more light or dark dragons gives you more targets. So it's good to have, and its effect to discard to summon a dragon-made monster from your graveyard or banishment is decent. Like, just gives you more stuff to do. And then...
And now because they added... Oh, sorry.
You're literally going to make the same joke I was about to.
Yeah.
We added the dragon... We finally caught up on all the dragon forms, so we had to add a new maid. And unfortunately, I don't think that... Yeah, that's right. These aren't... I really wish these were in Master Duel, but they're not. So I have to go to the Google search for Ladies Dragon Maid.
It's like they decided, okay, we'll finally give you her dragon form, and then make you wait for another one.
I mean, marketing-wise, that does kind of work because, like, Dragon Maid is a deck they've given support to a couple of times as a little bonus, a little treat. I think because it is like popular in Japan. But yeah, this is Ladies.
Jesus Christ, look at this one.
Yeah, a lot of extra detail. If you don't know,
I'm kind of blown away by like the combat like heels she's wearing.
Yeah, she's got little armored boots. She's got a Dragontail, obviously. She's got kind of like wing elements to her dress, and like literally got horns that also capture her hair, which is in like twin tails.
She's got like an attached like
No, she's got
frill?
one like big long, yeah. Lots of
She's
extra
got an
frills,
attached
yes.
frill to her tail.
Mm-hmm. She's got like a little badge.
This
on
is
her
gonna
belt.
be. This is gonna be the biblically accurate looking angelic angel. Sorry, angelic dragon.
Yeah, maybe. If you don't know, chat, each Dragon Maid is named after a position in the household. Lady's Maid is, the personal maid to an employer. So we're getting higher and higher in the crew. So
Let's see, ladies. How are they gonna anagram that?
Siddle? I don't know. I mean, they could just steal the name of the original.
Dilas.
They could steal the original name, kind of. No, it doesn't quite work because the syllables are different. In the OCG, she's Dragon Maid Lattice, Ratisu, basically like lady, but with ladies, but with a T instead of a D.
Huh.
So they might move some around. I'm gonna guess it's gonna start with the S. Though they could start with a Y. What the fuck do I know? Lady's Dragon Maid is a level 8 light dragon fusion, 2k attack, 3k defense, so she has the biggest booty of all dragon maids with a 3k defense. She is specifically 2 dragon maid monsters with the same attribute but different levels, so requiring you to double up. Not that that's too hard. Obviously, you can make this work with House and Shu. The other 2 fusions, but you can also do Chamber and Shrum. Kitchen and Tinkek are like pretty commonly paid because like Tinkek is basically an honest. She's an attack modulator, so like playing a 1-of as her just to deal with problems is not unknown, and Kitchen is a pretty good one. I don't know. I think you play Nurse Uranus, because those both summon from grave. So
Yeah,
like there's a couple of common ones. I
haven't seen many laundries.
Laundry is not as popular in Dragon Maid. She was popular in other decks. Like, I think you played her at Tier Limit at some point because she just generically mills 3. Like, she works in Dragon Maid, but she's not super strong, and I don't remember what her big dragon effect is, but it's not super good. Parlor Lopar is also, I think, one of the combos you can get away with. Parlor isn't super great, but Lopar, like, shuffles back a card from your opponent's graveyard or something. It's grave hate,
yeah.
So like that's another card that's good to run like a 1 or 2 of. I think primarily though you're probably gonna make ladies these days with the Chamber combo or with House and Shu. But there's a few different variations you can do. Ladies Dragon Maid must be first to be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above monsters 1 each from field and graveyard. So it's pretty easy to set up. She's a contact fuse. If this card's special summon, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Dragon Maid from your deck. During your standby, you can fusion summon a Dragon Fusion from your extra deck by shuffling its materials from your field or banishment into the deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. So she is like an extender.
No. Yeah, what the fuck?
I mean, that's okay. Like, honestly, with Shu as your Omni already, you don't really need, like, a new boss monster in this deck. They got a new one anyway, but she's technically generic. We'll talk about that card in a second.
Yeah.
But, Lady's Dragon Maid is a really fun one because she's a contact fusion, so you don't have to, like... You can make her regardless of making with a changeover. She does require some graveyard setup, but since all of your big dragons like have discard effects, this can be pretty easy to set up your plays to get into a Lady's. She's probably like a 1-of, but she's got like a decent defense stat. You make her in defense. You don't even like need the fusion spell at all. She says must be special summoned first. But then you can summon her back because she's a level 8, so you can summon her back with cards like House and Shu. And I think also, yeah, during the standby phase. So basically, she said, oh no, it's shuffle back. So she doesn't go to graveyard. Okay, they've done a very smart thing here. Sorry. I was thinking you could, like, use Lady's Effect to send her as material for Shu and then summon her back. No, she shuffles back, which is very important. But I think the fact that she works from banishment is very critical. Dragon Maid was another one of those decks that was very vulnerable to, whatchamacallit, to banishment. So giving them a way to, like, get a couple cards back if your opponent is sniping your materials. Very useful. And presumably, like, if you, I said before, right, like, she's an extender. Presumably her, her big dragon form will be another fusion that will be more boss-like. Sorry, I'm trying to hunt for this Yu-Gi-Oh card. Did nobody? God, DeviantArt always letting me down. There we go. We've kind of got a bigger image of this. Because the bonus card in Alliance Insight they added to Dragon Maid is Philia Regis, who has in Japanese the subtitle of Yoryu no Kinki, so Forbidden Princess of the Bewitching Dragon. Filia Regis is in Latin is just daughter of the king. So princess. It's a very funny way to say it. But she is a non-made dragon-like woman with a rock. And the tie-in for this was there was the quarter century box they released a while ago, which had the original run of Dragon Maid support. It also contained support for Orcust and Punk. So those guys also got some generic cards that are technically support. But Filia Regis here is a Dark Dragon level 8 fusion with Blue Eye stats, 3k25. Her materials are a Dragon Fusion monster and a level 7 or higher dragon, both of which are very accessible in Dragon Maid. And she says, during the main phase quick effect, target card your opponent controls or in their graveyard, banish it. If you banish a card in the field, return a dragon you control to the hand. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, this card's in your graveyard, return a dragon you control to the extra deck, hand or extra deck. Special summon this card. You can use each effect once per turn. So Filia Regis is a Dragon Maid without being a Dragon Maid. Her materials are both Dragon Maid adjacent, and her effects are to bounce dragons you control, which is a thing you want to do anyway. So she's a very great addition to the deck, and honestly, like I said, I've run, it was one of the first decks I built in Master Duel. I've run Dragon Maid before. I did for a little bit when they unbanned all the Dragon Rulers. I did Ruler Maid. Very funny combo. I don't think you have enough space in the deck to physically run with the new Dragon Rulers, the full Dragon Maid package, but you can, like, pepper in some stuff. But I definitely want to try Dragon Maid in Master Duel again when they add those 3 cards. I would bet, knowing the way Konami is fucked up about stuff, haven't even released all of the... Because, let me double check. So we just got Ryziel in Master Duel. That was in Crossover Breakers. That was with... Oh, so, yeah, what do you get? Wow. Sorry. I think Ryuga got released, like, December or January? No wonder people have been waiting for Malice and Ryziel for so long. They released Ryuga super early, so that's been in. So now that with Ryziel's out, we have all the archetypes from Crossover Breakers, so Justice Hunters is next. I would expect we'll probably get those in a few months. And honestly, the way that Master Duel does these things, I bet that they are going to release Dracotail first because, as I said earlier, but to remind for Loth, who wasn't here for most of this, Dracotail's not bad. It's literally getting tops, but it is probably the least good, we'll say it that way, of the 3 in the box, so it's probably the one that's the safest to release into the meta, whereas Yummy and K9 especially because all the Vanquish Soul's also been a very strong deck in Master Duel already. And K9 Vanquish Soul is very strong. But, like, those decks are very viable, very strong. So I suspect we will get Dracotail first. Knowing the way Konami runs Master Duel, I would not be shocked if the selection pack wasn't the Dragon Maid stuff, the Dragon Ruler stuff, and the Dracotail stuff, so they could inflate the rarities. But they might just do a selection pack that's just the new Dragon Rulers and the new Dragon Maids and some other bullshit at low rarity. Because that would give them excuse to reprint a lot of shit, a lot of pack filler, like all the 9 billion Speedroid and 6 Sam cards I pull trying to pull Ryziel. Because it's the rarity inflation. But yeah, that is Dracotail. That's kind of where it's at. It's a deck that's pretty flexible. It's a very interesting concept to kind of speedrun for you, Loth. They're a fusion archetype of dragons and spellcasters, right? They do have fusion spells, but also 2 of their monster effects are to fuse. One of them is literally a quick effect during either main phase. You can discard her to make a fusion with monsters from your hand or field. So, like, it's a deck that gives you a lot of options going first or second to make your targets. There are a lot of different packages you can run in it. You can run Dragonmate, you can run Shaddoll, you can run other stuff. There's like Chimera stuff I've seen in there. So like it's got flexibility. Literally in this set, they reprinted Edge Imp Chain and Fright for Patchwork, which both search polymerization. So like a Fluffle Edge Imp, type beat works. So there's a lot of interesting little things you can run as well. But it's a little archetype. It's got some flexibility, but we'll see. It's probably not as strong as Yummy or K9. So next time we'll be talking about K9.
And
Hopefully we'll have a
I'll
few
be
more
able
people.
to actually show up.
Yeah. Dallas also ducked out this week because he's not feeling well.
I had work last night and I discovered my stress response, so that's my excuse.
Damn. But I myself am also, Chad picked up on this by me ducking out a couple of times and I mentioned it. I'm also not feeling 100% still, so I hate to leave you all hanging so fast, but we're going to get on here. We've been going for 2 hours. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow to Final Fantasy XIV, where hopefully we will be feeling more juiced because we got to do the fucking Alliance raid again. And get killed.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly a lot. Won't that be fun, chat? But thanks so much for everybody tuning in. Support us on the channel and support us on Patreon to get more of this shit. The poll is still ongoing. I don't think it's ended just yet because it's only the 12th. So we'll pick a new archetype. Last I checked, Ancient Warriors was in the lead, so maybe that, but we'll see. All right, that's going to be it, though. Good night, everybody.
Bye.